clarity feels boring, and that's exactly why it works. Because most people lack clarity. They're comfortable and they actually find calmness in the chaos. But long term, it's not going to work out. If you want to evolve, if you want to grow, if you want to become a better you, you're going to have to become, more clear on what that looks like, first of all. And that's where clarity comes in. Once you have clarity, life gets very boring because you realize exactly what you need to do. The picture becomes so clear that you don't wonder or worry or think about anything else. If you stay focused on that, you're going to get a lot of progress very quickly. But like I said, most people are comfortable with the chaos. And they will do anything to stay there. They'll create problems, they'll create turmoil, they'll regress, they'll go back to the old ways, the old patterns. And when you realize that loop can't continue, is the day that you say, I've had enough is enough, that's the day that you win, right? You win because that's the last straw. You've said it, you've admitted it, you've said it out loud. You've come to terms with you can't continue to live the life that you're living right now. It's so much easier to live in the chaos for me. I find a lot of enjoyment out of it. I love the roller coaster. I love the ups. I love the downs. I love the excitement. I love the passion. I love how spontaneous I can be and impulsive. And I'm still all of that. I just now have clarity, and you have to inner work. You're going to lose pieces of yourself throughout life over time, versions of yourself, I like to say, because you do have many different versions of you. You have the happy you have the sad you have the you in 2020, COVID, right? Like that was probably a completely different person than you are now. But you have to learn how to integrate. You can kill off parts of yourself all day. Parts of yourself, ideas that you think, routines that you had, patterns that you have. You don't have to ever be that person again if it doesn't align with you. But most of the time, you're going to find more enjoyment in integrating and adapting past versions of yourself into your current you, just with more clarity and more purpose, more drive. I say it all the time. I know in my heart, in my mind, in my body, in my soul, my purpose is to do this. In a sense, not this particular video or videos in general, but to speak to you and put out knowledge, put out wisdom, and kind of just channel. Welcome to the channel. I'm your channel. My name's Tyler. Nice to meet you. But most people, once they get a smidge of clarity and they start to develop a routine, they miss the chaos. They really do. And they start to really try to go back to the old patterns. And that's what you've got to realize is never going to be the direction. It's inevitable to regress. It's inevitable to have challenges, trials, tribulations, adversity. 2025, I went through so many things, but I prayed for them, in a sense. I wouldn't consider myself religious, more spiritual if I had to put a label on it, but I don't really like to label anything. I just say I'm who I am, I'm just Tyler, But everything that I went through, I know why it had to happen in the way that it happened. I can reflect, and I feel like we could all learn a lesson in that. It's good to understand the current you, right? Most people don't understand themselves at all. They don't self-reflect. They don't think about why they think the way they think. They don't try to establish a pattern. Like, hey, when I'm feeling this way, I do this thing, which then leads to this happening, which makes me feel this way. They don't realize the loop. They don't realize the pattern that they're stuck in. Self-reflection will help with that. Meditation is a great way to calm and still your mind if you're not good with self-reflection. It will kind of bring you back down to a calm, low point where you can. Meditation is kind of like a natural state for me. I do a lot of breath work. I'm controlling my breathing all day. So I feel present pretty much all day. And that's the best feeling ever. When you get to that level, you're going to be like, oh, wow. There's even more enjoyment in the clarity than there is in the chaos. But to get there, you really have to reflect. Start with trying to understand who you are now, you know, the today version of you, the yesterday version of you, the tomorrow you is even better. If you can say who you want to be tomorrow and then you become that person today, that's where you really, the gates open, you know. It's gonna flood a lot of opportunities, and there's infinite opportunities. Infinite. Like literally anything can happen. So write that down. But establish who you are. Once you get to a stage to where you have clarity in who you are, clarity in your purpose, clarity in your mission, clarity in all essence of life, all aspects of life, I'm pretty good fiscally, mentally, spiritually, relationship wise. I'm good. I'm 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 a loner. I prefer it that way, dude. I got my own apartment. I live alone. I've just got a cat. I'm chilling. It's always good vibes. It's always peaceful. I've been putting myself out there more. I used to be a social butterfly, and I had a lot of friend groups, a lot of people to impress, a lot of expectations to take into account. But once you realize, you know, who you are and everything becomes clear and you embrace the calm, you embrace the stillness, and you understand, like, wait, I can have peace, and then there will still be high moments, but I'm not going to experience the lows, you know? Like, I don't have crazy lows. I don't, I used to drop down to other people's level to make them feel that I understand. I'm very empathetic. I walk into a room and I feel it. We can all do it. I've just always done it my entire life, you know? So I developed that skill very quickly, being able to read people, body language, just energy, just everything. But once you figure out who you are now and you continue to be the person you want to be, you are going to integrate some past versions of yourself. And that's reflecting the past. Once I got clear on everything current and everything recent, within the past couple months, couple years, past year, I started going back and back and back, further. And I thought of all the major things. I've written them down. I like to write, it's a reflection of A, my communication skills at that period of time, B, like my mentality, my thought process, my thought pattern at that time. Like in 2021, I wrote every single day for the entire year. And I posted it every single day, just on like my Snapchat, just for like my friends, just to hold myself accountable. And all I did was a question of the day. And that led to so much growth in that year. But then I remember in 2023, 2 years later, I was I had a friend come over, and she seen the book. She wanted to know, and she opened it up and she started reading my responses. And she's like, "Wow!" She's like, "This." She's like, "You were in a completely different place then." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, of course. 2 years passed. I hope I've grown." And, anyways, that's just one example. I've lived in Florida for 6 years. I moved here June 2019, and I've gone through so much in that time. Literally so much. You guys wouldn't even understand. You see me now, you see like I'm chilling, dude. I'm literally, life is good, happy, vibey. It's all love, it's all light, it's all positivity. But it took a lot to get here. I've faced literally any adversity that you could think of. I've experienced it tenfold, and I'm so grateful for it. And I understand why certain things didn't work out and why certain things did work out, and the timing of everything. It's divine timing. Genuinely, everything happens exactly when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. You may not agree with it, you may not want it to work out this way, but everything's going to work out inevitably. Enough time's going to pass to where things are going to continue. It's going to move on. People are going to move on, you're going to move on. That's it. And then, if you don't want to think about the past at all, you don't have to, because genuinely, you can continue a great, prosperous life, an abundant life, without thinking about the past. I personally, and I understand the positive from it, and I suggest everybody does it, I like to reflect on the past, especially Start with the really good high highs, the positives, like, oh my God, this year I met this person. All right, well, what stemmed from that? What kind of interaction? What did you do together? Did you go anywhere? Did you experience anything that you never experienced? Did you feel anything you never felt? How did that result? You know, start with the highs. And then once you become clear on that and you start to understand it, you're like, oh, wow. So wait, there's a timeline, there's a pattern. Like, I met this person because this thing happened. They introduced me to them. It's then you get into the negatives, right? Negatives. The things that you didn't agree with, the things you didn't want to happen, the things that made you cry, the things that made you anguish, like the absolute I wish nobody would ever feel this way feelings, right? Mental health, huge thing for me. I will prioritize mental health over everything because I know how serious it is. I've experienced it, I've been there. But you have to understand certain things do have to happen. It's life happens for you. It's like the old saying, you make time to rest your body, or your body will make the time to rest, right? Something like that. You get it. So if you don't take the time to reflect, you're probably repeating patterns. Think about it. What are the type of people that you attract? Who's in your life? Also, I should have chugged it immediately. I just forgot because I was straight yapping, but hydrogenated water in the copper mug. I always say mug. It's a damn mug to me, alright? Copper cup. But good for inflammation. Really helps with airways. You gotta face your old patterns. It's gonna help you grow. It's gonna help you stop your current patterns. If you realize and you reflect, I'm gonna use relationships as an example because most people can relate. You're probably in a relationship right now, or you just got out of one, or you're about to get into one. You've probably been with the same types of people. Once you identify the characteristics of who you're with, if there's any negatives, it's probably just a reflection. It's probably just a mirror. You're probably just projecting. The things that you hate in other people, most of the time, it's something that you you have that attribute, that characteristic yourself. So once you see that and you realize, like, oh my gosh, this really makes me angry and upset on this person, but I do the same thing. You realize you're a hypocrite, and we all are. Everybody is. It's a human thing. We're all selfish as well, by the way. That's why I tell everybody, do not apologize for being you. Don't apologize for choosing you. Embrace you always. Do no harm to others. I don't believe in that. I mean, if you're coming at me, bro, we gonna, like, if you have an intent to kill, good luck. But seriously, become clear on everything. Seriously, become clear. That's number one. Calm your mind, still your mind. Realize nobody's out to get you, they're not gonna hurt you, and that you're safe. Okay? Because all of this, it's here, right? It is. Your experience is here. Take away all of your senses. I take away your sight. I take away your sense of smell. I take away your sense of touch. I take away the ability to hear. I take away your ability to taste. But your heart's still beating. Your brain's still functioning. Where are you? What are you? That's a crazy concept to think about. And if you really do have I feel like those people are highly connected. And if you get it, you get it. I feel very connected. I've mastered the law of detachment. I can, like, honestly say I don't care how anything works out. Because guess what? I don't even know if tomorrow's guaranteed. I don't even know if an hour from now is guaranteed, dude. Life's crazy. Crazy things happen. It's random. But I embrace every now moment. I love every now moment. I enjoy every now moment. And guess what? I've done a lot of living, and I'm grateful for it. A lot of living. That's why I'm content with the unknown. And once you don't care about the result and you kind of just enjoy the process of things, like, if you guys could see the back screen, the back end, the behind the scenes of all that goes into this, it's something enjoyable for me. It's really fun. I like doing the setup. I like grabbing the cup. I like grabbing this, angling the camera, adjusting the lighting, adjusting the audio after I take the video, getting a good thumbnail, coming up with the title, coming up with a description, pin comment. All of that, I enjoy the process, so I do it. If I ever get to a point to where I don't enjoy the process, I could just if I want to keep the channel, I could just do this part and I have somebody else do everything else, right? I delegate. But right now I enjoy doing everything, so I'm going to do everything. But if I didn't enjoy it and I was just doing it because I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we're going to get a monetized channel and I'm going to be able to quit my job and I'm going to get all this money and I'm going to have so many followers and I'm going to show so many people I could do it, which by the way, I have nobody doubting me, literally, because do you know why? Nobody knows this exists. I don't just go up to people and be like, yo, started a YouTube channel about a week ago. What do you think? Check me out, dude. Can you subscribe, comment? Do you know why? It's not for them. If they're meant to find it and see it, they're going to find it and see it. If they watch this type of content will be suggested to them. And that's why I know you're here for a reason. That's why you resonate, you feel. And you understand. If you're just not getting to a place of calm and peace, don't get scared of it. Embrace the boredom, embrace the solitude, embrace that the hermit mode. If you understand, you understand. I hope you do. But embrace that hermit mode energy. Life's inevitable. It's gonna continue, but you can take some time to pause, slow down, and become very clear on the life that you want to live. And stop making excuses. Live it now. Do it now. If there's any reason behind why you can't do something, and I'm talking obviously, dude, if you're a quadriplegic, you're not going to win an Olympic swimming race. You might, but not against somebody with arms and legs. You understand what I mean? I'm talking logically. I'm a very logical based person, but I'm also very delusional in a sense to where I know everything's going to work out. It's literally inevitable. It's already written. It's already done. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've felt it. So why isn't it going to happen again? If you get it, you get it. That's meant for somebody. But guys, seriously, it's all love. It's all light. If you're struggling, just know it's going to get better. Remember, everything's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. If you don't feel okay, you got to train your brain to immediately start thinking that, saying it, physically say it out loud. Type it, write it down. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, I want you to go into the notes on your phone. Just type. Okay? Close it. Come to a place of calm. Look at it at another time whenever you're happier, whenever you're more positive. Be like, oh my gosh, this was so much, Because in a heightened state, you're going to be more, I don't want to say irrational, but you're just going to be out there, dude. You're going to type all your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, and once you become more calm, the next day, you look at it and you read it and you're like, wait, why was I thinking all of this from this happening? It's like, dude, they put lettuce on my taco. Why am I sitting here thinking about the world ending tomorrow? Something like that. But gosh, I kill myself, dude. I literally I find so much humor in the crazy ways that I get to some certain thoughts, But I've gotta articulate it for you, and I know I've got my own flair, guys. I hope you love it. Seriously, I hope that you see the light. I hope you see how much enjoyment it brings me. Always smiling. We're always glowing. We're always happy. But that's it. Love you guys. Again, subscribe if you want. If you want to stay, if you want to chill a little while, you're more than welcome. You can always unsubscribe next week. No hard feelings. You're free to subscribe. Have a great life. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed life. And if you guys ever need anything, just know we're all here for each other. Honestly. See you later.